So I was sitting down here last night and I'm looking up in this area and I'm like, there's a lot of space up here and I think we could build something really cool to fill it. So let's head to the shop and I'll show you what I had in mind. So what I decided to build for that space in the bar to occupy a lot of that area, because the bar is 18 feet in diameter, is a ceiling fan that's going to look like a windmill blade. There's a couple options I could have done versus building one. You could go, buy one and figure out a way to hang that. A problem there was when you buy one, they don't have a center hub in them, so I would have had to come up with that anyway. And a lot of times I either can't find one in my area or somebody only has half of one. So I just decided I'm going to build the whole thing out of items that I have. The main hub is going to be out of this old tractor implement. And what I'm going to do is take this piece of steel here, it's the same width, and I'll cut this to length, wrap it around here, weld it, and that will get attached to the rim here. Before I cut it though, I'm going to be making a lot of marks on here. I need to divide it up in 18 spaces for the 18 blades. Then I also want to put some marks on the top and the bottom when this is vertical to help me line each blade up so I can get each one as close as I possibly can so it's consistent all the way around. So I'm going to get going and get this marked up. We'll get it cut to length. I'll roll it. We'll wrap it around here and get it welded together. Warning, read and follow all labels and your owner's manuals. Put a center point on there and that's going to line up with the marks we put on the ring earlier. And then down on this end, on both sides, I want to come in 12 inches and find a center point there. And the reason I'm going to do that is the last step to this build is going to be, when the blades are on, to weld some braces from the center here to the center of the top of the next one. So I want to get all that done before I form these and weld them in place. So right now, I'm forming the curve in the blade. I don't have a slip roll, so just kind of had to use what I have in the shop. You've probably seen me use this piece of pipe before. And I'm going to get what I think is a decent curve on the wide end here first, and then I'll turn it around and do this narrow end. So one of the reasons I went with 20 gauge material was because, as you can see, it's taking a little bit of effort to form it by hand. I originally was going to use 16 gauge and I could not bend down on this narrow end here. I mean, maybe a little bit down here. So we changed plans and went with the 20 gauge material. So I got a good start on welding the blades onto the ring, and I wanted to take a minute to point out why I put all those lines on earlier. And as you can see, here's your upper and lower line in about a ½ inch. I have the vertical line here. That's for each blade. There's 18 of those. And then I also marked the center line, and that's so that we can point this center line on the blade up to there. And then I use that top and bottom line to help guide where the fan blade is going to go at an angle, and I can make each one of these consistent all the way around. So when welding on different material thicknesses like I am here on this project, the ring is 1/8 of an inch and these blades are 20 gauge. So what I'll do is set my welder to the thicker material, which would be the 1/8 inch in this case, and then you just really have to watch that puddle when it washes into that 20 gauge, that you get off that real quick so you don't burn through. So the last step to this project is going to be to weld what I'm going to call these stabilizer bars in. If you remember earlier on, we made marks 12 inches up on the top and the bottom of each one of these blades. That's so that I can weld this piece in there so that the blades are not hanging there individually, just kind of flapping. It'll tie those all together on the outside and just kind of sturdy that all up. So now that the fan is done, make sure that you come back for the next episode of Backyard Bar so you can see how I hang this in the grain bin.